So now that we've established the fact that we need to understand transition probabilities in order to solve for Markov decision processes, the idealized version of reinforcement learning problems, we are going to go through the derivation of the formula that we saw in the earlier slides. Now, what's important here is not the derivation itself, because that's actually pretty easy to understand, but the implications of it. Like, what does it actually mean? Right? And in order to explain that, let me first rewrite the formula. So we had that the the summation through all possible states and all possible rewards of the probability of ending up in some future state S prime gain some reward R, given that you're in some state S and you take an action A. All of those probabilities should sum up to 1. Right? That's basically what we're saying. But of course, if you're looking at this for the first time, you'll be asking yourself, like, okay, but what does this actually mean? And in order to show this, I'll demonstrate with a very simple example. Imagine that you're in a world where there are only 2 possible states. So your state space comprises of the following. Either you're broke or you're rich. These are the 2 possible states you can be in, and the only action you can take in this world that could end you up in any of the states is playing the lottery. Right? So while this problem by itself is not that interesting, it is simple enough to show us what these transition probabilities actually are. So let's look a bit at what the outcomes of this model that we described could be. Right? So say that you decided to take the action to play lottery. What are the possible outcomes that you result from that? So either you'd win, so the probability that you win, given that you decided to play the lottery, which we call A, this is equals to, we'll just call it Px, right? Similarly to the probability that you lose, given that you decided to play the lottery, which again we're calling A, let's call that Py. Right? So the only 2 outcomes that you can have in this world is that you either win or you lose, which means by definition the probability of X plus the probability of Y, this should be equal to 1. Right? So that will be the simple way of representing this, the outcomes of this event. But that's the thing, we are solving MDPs and we want to represent this in a way that would be suitable for solving our reinforcement learning algorithms or problems in the future, right? So first thing first, let's actually take this step by step. Let's look at what's actually happening at each time step that we decide to make an action. So we start off at state S0. That's S at time step 0. And at this time step, we're broke. That's our current state. And since this is a very simple problem, the only action we can take is play the lottery. So the action we take at time step 0 is play lottery. Okay. So from this state action pair, there are only 2 possible outcomes as we described. First of all, with the probability of Px, we could win. And that would mean getting a reward, which we'll call R1x. And this would lead us into a new state, which we'll call S1x. We know that in this state, we'll be rich. Why? Because we won the lottery. On the other hand, with a probability of Py, we would lose, get a negative reward, which I'll call R1y, and end up in state S S1Y. And we know that in this state would be broke. Why? Because we lost. So we've basically represented the same information but using a series of events that are happening, because like as we saw from the previous slides, we are going to be analyzing a sequence of events until some form of terminal state, and I'll go in more detail about it in a future video. But for now, just think of this simple model. You're broke, you play lottery, two possible outcomes. You, with the probability of px, you actually win the lottery and end up rich. But with the probability of py, you would lose the lottery and end up in the same broke state, right? And both of these are associated with rewards, R1x for winning and R1y for losing. This would be a negative reward, of course. So what we have is a situation now that we can represent in a particular way. Like someone asks you a question, for instance. So Jared, what is the probability in this world that you described that I would actually end up rich, right? This is what you want to know. Well, that's pretty simple, right? So the probability that you end up rich, which we'll call S1x, which is associated with some reward, which we'll call R1x, given that you're in state S0, and you take action A0, this, well, you can pause the video and think about it for a second, but I believe the answer should actually be pretty simple, right? This is px. Again, think about it from a conceptual point of view. What is the probability that you'll be rich, get the reward R1x, given that you were broke and decided to play lottery, right? This is the same as probability of winning given that you play the lottery, which is px, as we defined it. Similarly, the probability that you end up in a state S1y, which is associated with the reward R1y, given that you're in S0, A0, this should be equal to py, sorry. So now that we have these probabilities defined and you can actually interpret what they mean, we can therefore say that if we sum up the probability of S1x, R1x given S0, A0 plus the probability of S1y, R1y given S0, A0, this should be equal to 1. Why? Because px plus py is equals to 1. That means this plus this is 1. That should be simple enough. So like I said, the derivation of it is simple. Now we can see why these probabilities are actually supposed to sum up to 1 as shown here. And we can just extrapolate on that idea by saying, okay, we define our state space S prime, right, to be of a set of all possible future states that we might end up in, which is S1x and S1y. And similarly, we define our state R to be the possible rewards we might get, which is R1x and R1y. So we have defined what R is, we have defined what S is. So what does that mean? That means if we sum through all possible states S prime, which are an element of S, which we actually said consist of S1x and S1y, if you remember, it's right here. And if we sum through all possible R's, all possible rewards, which again we had defined as R1x and R1y. So if we sum the probabilities of S prime, R, which is the same as S1x, R1x, S1y, R1y, given some initial state S, A, these probabilities should be equal to 1. And by that, we have actually derived the formula that's shown over here, or actually, more importantly, we actually understand what it's actually saying, what's the meaning behind it, just using this simple example. So the examples that we'll encounter in the real world or whatever are going to be more complicated than this. Why? Because you're not going to have one possible action. You'll have many actions that you can take, many possible states that you can take, and the reward function itself, right, might be a random variable, and so forth and so forth. So the whole point of it is that the situation gets more complicated, but understanding this basic example that I presented here should give you the first step in order to solve the more challenging problems that we will definitely be solving in future videos. So thank you for your time.